Hello everyone, a very good evening. Could somebody please confirm if I'm audible today? I don't want today to be like yesterday where I'm not audible. Please let me know and then we'll start. All good? All right, let's begin. So here I am with the 21st episode for D.E.A.R, also the last episode of the month. My name is Karishma and I brought to you the series called D.E.A.R in February, where I wanted you to make books your Valentine. This series is known as Drop Everything and Read. It is meant to help you get better at RCs. It is meant to help you get better at vocabulary, get better at writing, to understand the tone of the author, to see how the various articles are written, and to get comfortable with all sorts of possible articles so that on the D day, you're absolutely okay with anything that life throws at you. I mean, I am throw at you. So I hope that the series has been fruitful to you so far. If yes, then we shall continue it. Do I have a few useful and important announcements today because I will not meet you for some days now. So please listen to me carefully as I make those announcements. First of all, if you're a new student to me, then you can connect with me on Telegram. This is the name of my channel, Karishma's Vanquishers. I have also started an Instagram endeavor where I'm discussing grammar and vocabulary and punctuation and all sorts of stuff that I can. It is also known as Vanquishers with an underscore in the middle. I'm taking live CAT classes at Unacademy Plus, and in case you have not yet taken an Unacademy subscription and you're preparing for CAT 2021, then please take a subscription and use my code Karishma Live to get yourself a discount. That discount ends on the 31st of March, and there is a price hike, like the petrol hike already happened. So it's just that Unacademy is a little kind and they're at least giving you a warning. The government never gives us a warning, and there is a price hike. So the price hike will happen from 1st of April. So in case you haven't taken the subscription yet, now is the time. Tomorrow there is a free class for all of you. This happens at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. is 1 noon tomorrow. I have included some 5 to 6 CAT questions in this. There are some analogies, there are some fill in the blanks. And of course, there are some good vocab questions. So it's a good mix of vocab questions, and we are going to practice it. It is free for anybody and everybody to attend. You just have to download the app, use my code Karishma Live, and unlock the class. It's absolutely free of cost. After that, on 1st of April and 31st of March, I have 2 more free classes for you. On 31st of March, we are going to do a critical reasoning practice session. You should attend this one only if you know how to do critical reasoning. But this is again something that everybody can attend, and this is happening at 8 p.m. Okay, so 8 to 9 p.m. we are going to have this class. This one is at 5:30 p.m. All of these details are mentioned on my profile Karishma2510 on the Unacademy app and website, so you can go there and check it. After that, I'm going on a break. So there will be no classes and no sessions from 2 to 13th of April. So that's the important announcement that I wanted to make. So there will be no D.E.A.R and no live classes in this period. I will now straight away see you after 1st of April on the 14th of April with another class, which is an introduction to para-based questions. All the classes mentioned on this slide are free. Just use my code, unlock them, and you are in. These are the plus courses that I am taking these days. So I am undergoing this course these days, and I have a class with you at 7 o'clock. So in case you're a plus student, join me there. If not, then try considering a subscription. Then I'm on a break. After I'm back from the break, we have our popcorn course, as you call it. So my students call it the popcorn course because here I'm going to teach you the basics of as much as I can. So politics and philosophy and religion and spirituality and psychology and Israel, Palestine, and Brexit, and whatever. So whatever I can, I'll give you 10 knowledge sessions here where I'm going to teach you the basics of everything, so that when you take up RC passages, you're absolutely good at them. Then the intermediate level of this RC course will begin on 17th of May, which is pretty far. But on 16th of April, we are starting with the course which deals with para jumbles, para completion, para summary, odd man out, etc. So these are the various plus courses that are upcoming. The weekly scholarship test is free for all of you to attend, especially if you're a non-plus subscriber. Even if you're a plus subscriber, you should try and take it so that you can win a huge scholarship, and who knows, you might get a huge discount on the Unacademy Plus subscription as well. Just use my code and you are in again. These are the various new batches that are starting at Unacademy. Iconic is another offering by Unacademy that has all the benefits of Plus along with personal mentorship. Ask Her Out feature is another offering which can be used by free as well as plus subscribers alike. Don't worry about VARC doubts here. Some students have said that there is no VARC. Try uploading a question, you will start getting an answer. These are the various subscription rates. Like I said, they are ending very soon. So right now, a 6-month and a 12-month subscription will cost you around 12,600 and 15,750 after you apply my code. After 31st of March, the dates will get revised to 16,400 and 22,550 for 6 months and 12 months respectively. So like I said, now is the time to subscribe. Let's begin with our article for today. The fence is uncomfortable, but it affords the best view. Before you read the article, I have something to ask you. How many of you find yourself in a situation in life where you can't really decide whether something is right or wrong, where you can't really decide that something is completely good or completely bad? Are you the kind of person who can feel angry and kind at the same time? I think I am largely like that. And I always used to feel that this is something miserable or something to be worried about, because when you are angry as well as kind, people may take undue advantage of it. Also, you are called indecisive because you can't really take a decision. So many a times in my life, I would be like, if I have two friends who are fighting, I couldn't take sides because I thought that both of them are right at some places and both of them are wrong. What do we call this? So we call this ambivalence. Now the root word ambi, I have taught this to you in the vocab class, means two. So the word ambiguous, which means confusing, comes from this root. The word ambidextrous also comes from this, and ambidextrous is when you are capable of using both hands well, like the virus character in Three Idiots, although that's an exaggerated example, writing with both hands, but yeah. You also get to use the word ambidextrous in cricket, where you have a left-handed bowler and a right-handed batsman. And then you have another word which is an ambivert. An ambivert is a combination of introvert and extrovert. Introvert is antarmukhi, okay? You like to stay secluded, you have less friends, you don't communicate much with the outer world. Or you are extrovert, so you're a party animal, you socialize and you have friends and you talk to strangers, so you are a bahirmukhi. If you switch between the two, then you are ambivert, ubhaymukhi. And then the last word that we're going to discuss in today's article is ambivalent. So ambivalent is a person who's not sure, a person who has mixed feelings. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Let's find it out. The fence is uncomfortable, but it affords the best view. So have you ever tried doing a trek, where you hike all up the hill? The journey is very arduous, but only after you reach the top you realize that the journey was worth it. So if you have had that kind of experience, you know that something that gives you the best view, like a fence, it is usually also uncomfortable. To be human means constantly to be in the grip of opposing emotions, to have daily to reconcile apparently conflicting tensions. Every single day of human life is filled with decisions like, should I do this? Should I do this not? Do you love me? Do you love me not? Should I go ahead with it? Should I leave it? Should I do MBA this year? Should I take a drop? Should I grab this job or should I grab that college? Do I let go of this person or should I stay with him forever? All the time. And what is human life all about? Making the choices. What is the right choice? Well, I think there's no right choice. It's whatever is best for you, whatever you can make it, whatever you can make the most out of. So you have to reconcile. Reconcile is, trying to bring them together on the same page. Apparently conflicting tension. So there will be conflict every day. Okay, so start, rather than blaming that the situation that why me, I think we should just accept it as a part of our life. A few years ago, I had just started a fantastic new job as an assistant professor at a large university. I would be researching what I loved. Some of the best people in my field were down the hall, but I was in an unfamiliar country. So should I get a visa and go to the US? Or no, I'm going to miss Golgappas and I should stay back here. So if you are in that kind of a dilemma, it's not new. I didn't know anybody. I didn't speak the language. It wasn't that I was unhappy and unexcited. It was just that I was all, as well as being happy and excited, I was also scared and uncertain. I was experiencing ambivalence. There's another beautiful word that I taught you in the class, eustress, if you remember. EU is good. Stress everybody knows, theoretically and practically. So eustress is like a positive stress. What is a positive stress? You're excited about something, but it's also making you nervous. So you're scared. Okay. It's like getting, I'm sure most people know, before getting a new haircut or a new hair color, so you're excited, but you're also scared. What if it goes wrong? Yeah. On the day of your wedding, maybe you don't know it yet, but I do. Maybe going on a date, so you're scared, but you're at the same time very excited about it. Going to a new college, for example, excited but scared whether you'll be able to find a good place there and good friends and stuff. This is known as eustress. This article calls it ambivalence. It is appealing to think about the world in black and white. There are good guys and bad guys. Things we like, things we don't. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad. Although this simple view of our inner lives is tempting, day to day experience tells us that reality is more complicated and messy than that. So things are not as simple. I've often said this in the class also. Please don't portray everything as black and white. Don't just make it very simplistic. Okay, should I skim? Should I not skim? Should I read the passage? Should I not read the passage? Depends on the passage, depends on the exam, depends on the questions, depends on the student, depends on the difficulty level of the question, right? It is full of contradiction. As a consequence, our thoughts and feelings are mixed and conflicted, and we feel ambivalent. If you're anything like me, you've probably experienced the nuances, detail, and complexity of ambivalence at some point in your life. So, some point in your life, you must have experienced that it's very difficult to decide what side is actually better or greater, especially around moments of change and transition, such as graduation. So, like I told you, I got a call from a 2020 student yesterday, and he spoke to me for half an hour. For half an hour, he kept on asking me that, please tell me whether should I go to IMT Hyderabad or should I just stay back. I can't take a drop and I don't have a job, so I don't know what to do. Maybe it's not a great college, so please tell me. What was the decision that we figured out after half an hour? Nothing. I just helped him understand that what he actually wanted, and probably he actually wanted to join a college this year, and we ended up deciding that yes, you should go ahead. So that is this a right decision? So like I said, there's nothing right and nothing wrong. Whenever you come across a change or a transition, you will undergo this process. When you become a parent, okay, so have you heard about postpartum depression? I think all of you should know about it. You will be parents someday. I mean, it's not compulsory, trust me. So, but if you choose to be a parent one day, there's something known as postpartum depression where the mother starts hating the child. Now, however monstrous you may name it and however questionable you may find it, I have known people who have suffered from it. When a new baby is born, the female's body goes on a toll. There's nobody to help you. And trust me, at least in this country, the woman is still largely responsible. I would say 90% responsible for bringing up the child. Very few fathers get involved, more than 10%. So women usually suffer from postpartum depression and they don't like their child because it's a whole lot of responsibility. Her body has completely changed. Her life has completely changed. Nobody's bothered about her. And she's just struggling feeding that child who wants to cling to her breast all the time. It's very real and it's very bad also. It's very sad. Sadly, nobody wants to talk about it because, like I said, if you're a mother and you don't like your child, you're supposed to be a monster in the society. But trust me, it's very real. It could also be losing a loved one. So when your parents grow old and you don't know what happens, I have seen a lot of people just praying that we don't know whether we should pray to God that our parents should stay or should they leave us. Because in both the cases, there is some amount of loss. So you choose the side where there is less loss. But it is not only about these milestones. It is common to experience ambivalence in everyday life. It is quite normal to feel ambivalent about exercise and tasty but unhealthy food. I don't know why does this happen, but I'll continue. So this says it's quite normal to feel ambivalent about exercise and tasty but unhealthy food, or about topics we see in the news such as immigration and climate change. We also typically experience ambivalence in our most important relationships, such as with our parents, our romantic partners, and our co-workers and frenemies. Why frenemies? It's a portmanteau. I brought you portmanteau on Instagram page. Friends plus enemies are known as frenemies. All right. I just need a moment here. Please give me one. Extremely sorry. I had put this phone on silent, but somehow I'm still new to it and it gets connected with my laptop. All right, let's proceed. So this says, even though ambivalence is a common experience, as a concept, it is frequently misunderstood. It doesn't mean that you don't care about something or that you're indifferent. So people will often think that there's something wrong with you, or maybe you're indifferent, you don't care because you can't take a decision, or maybe you don't care enough. But ambivalence refers to the presence of strong feelings, but in opposition. You love your parents, but you find them annoying. Your successful colleague inspires you, but you also envy her. Ambivalence is also different from ambiguity. Ambiguity is a state in which you're unclear about the meaning, you don't know what something is. For instance, reading the statement, I'm having an old friend for dinner. So now you may be happy about meeting the old friend. You may also be sad about it because you will have to make a lot of preparation. Could somebody please confirm if I'm audible as well as visible? Could somebody please confirm? I can't see your messages somehow. Yes? Okay. Okay. Alright, so ambiguity is a state in which you are unclear about the meaning. You don't know what something is. For instance, reading the statement, I'm having an old friend for dinner. So let's say somebody calls me and they tell me that they are coming over for dinner. So now this happens with me often. If somebody comes to me without telling me, rather than that, I should say without asking me, I get really uncomfortable. Now people find this bad about me. A lot of people will tell me that I'm not a welcoming person, but I tell you, it's actually very uncomfortable for me because I can't quickly switch on and switch off according to new plans. It's difficult for me. So I have feelings of ambiguity, and there are multiple drastically different meanings. How are multiple drastically different means? Somebody coming over means I'll have to maybe clean the house a little extra, maybe cook something for them, maybe make an arrangement, dress myself up, leave what I am doing right now, change my plan. A lot of repercussions are attached to it, and this is why I can't adjust to it very quickly. So it has multiple drastically different meanings. When experiencing ambivalence, you're not uncertain about what's going on. Something is quite clearly both positive and negative, good and bad, pleasant and unpleasant, and you know it. Most of us feel ambivalent about some things, at least some of the time, but apart from that moment to moment ambivalence, some people are also consistently more ambivalent than others. So there are people who will have ambivalence in a few moments, and then there are people who are almost always, or let's say majority of the times, you will find them ambivalent, or more often than not. These people tend to see both the positive and negative sides to things, and they feel conflicted about many topics. In psychological terms, they are high in the trait ambivalence. So ambivalence is a trait in the world of psychology. So you can be ambivalent as a person. It could be a personality trait in you. It is defined as a tendency to experience more ambivalence about more issues. So, even if people are fighting on a news channel, or if somebody is debating with you, or people are talking about topics such as religion or something like being a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, you can't really take sides because you will see the positives as well as negatives in every situation. And trust me, I say this from a lot of experience. Every situation has some amount of positive or negative both. Maybe you are one of these ambivalent people, or perhaps you know someone who is. Do you often see the positive side as well as the negative side of an issue? Do you believe that there are pros and cons to almost anything? This exactly sounds like me. Do you often feel like you are being torn between two sides of a debate, so it becomes difficult for you to take a side? If your answer to these questions was consistently yes, then you might also be an ambivalent. I'll tell you a quick anecdote. So I was preparing for a debate at school, okay? And my English teacher, who was helping me out prepare for it, it was a huge competition at a national level. So he gave me a topic that nothing in life is black and white, everything is in shades of grey. So I think there was a student who spoke, I think I spoke in favor of the motion. So I said that yes, nothing in life is black and white, everything is in shades of grey. And there was another student who said that no, things are black and things are white. So this the teacher just tried to question me in the rebuttal round after the debate. He asks me that, is mother's love black, white or grey? And I tell you, there was pin drop silence in the auditorium because nobody knew how to answer that. Because if I call my mother's love black, obviously I'm demeaning her. If I call it grey, then maybe most people will not accept it. And if I call it white, then it goes against what I have just spoken in the debate where I said that nothing is black and white. So I don't really remember what I answered, etc., because he was just preparing us for the competition. It was not the actual competition. But I also remember him giving the answer that even as a mother, you will find yourself in life becoming selfish. For example, very common in our country is, if you don't do this, we'll be angry with you. If you don't do this, I'm not going to buy you a chocolate or a cycle. Or if you don't perform this, I'm not going to do this for you. Or if you do this for me, this is how I'll pay you back. So you will see that even as parents who are considered to be the most selfless people in our life, we may sometimes get selfish, and that's perfectly human. If this is you, you are in luck. Yes, it is true that ambivalence is not a comfortable state to be in. Typically, our emotions provide a useful guide for what action to take. But when we are ambivalent, our emotions are contradictory. There are multiple courses of action, and it is not directly clear what we should do. So because I'm confused, abhi pata nahi hai, where should I go? Where should I take this decision? Should I take that decision? This makes you feel anxious and uncertain. I'm sure I'm talking about a lot of you. A lot of you have complained, I don't know what to do, and therefore I'm anxious. However, while being in a regular state of ambivalence is not easy, but that does not mean that it is bad. Okay, that I hope that brings some sense of relief to you. In fact, it comes with benefits. First, if you're ambivalent, you are less impulsive. How are you less impulsive? What is impulsive? Impulsive is when you react without thinking. So, most people around you react, they do not respond. If you are an ambivalent person, you will respond because there will be a pause before you act. And if there is a pause, you can come down from reaction to responding. You will be wiser. You will not be impulsive. Somebody did this and then you reacted. That doesn't happen. Why? Because you're integrating opposing thoughts and ideas. You will consider everything, weigh the options, and then go ahead. By definition, this is a more complicated process than making decisions about topics about which you have strong feelings one way or the other. When you're ambivalent about a decision, you need more time to process all the available information and to gather more if required. So you weigh everything, you take a decision which is not very one-sided, which is not partial, it's well weighed, well thought of. This careful and deliberate decision-making style makes it less likely that you will jump to conclusions or you will do something rash that you might regret. Sounds good? Do you feel better already? I do. Apart from making you think more, ambivalence can also make you think better. So that's another faida, another benefit. It forces us to keep in mind multiple opposing thoughts, ideas, and feelings. To deal with these contradictions, the mind stretches itself to think more broadly and be more flexible. This cognitive breadth and flexibility in turn helps you be more open-minded. That is why when people are in an ambivalent mindset, they search for more information, and for more information that's more diverse. So like I told you, if I'm supposed to make a decision which is well thought of, which is well researched, then I'm also going to make specific attempts of researching things. I will make sure that I have more thoughts and more ideas, and I'm more flexible about researching and finding out things. What am I doing? I'm not just thinking more, I'm also thinking better. And because of the breadth of the thinking, I'm thinking about a lot of things. I can make more unexpected and broader connections between unrelated elements of a problem. And this is why I can be more creative and innovative as a person. So you see, so many benefits. Nobody talks to you this way, I'm sure. This is a new insight, isn't it? An ambivalent mindset also makes us fairer in our judgment. So like I told you, it'll be difficult for you to take sides. So you can't really decide who's right and who's wrong. Often when judging each other, we'll attribute a person's behavior to their personality, yet fail to see that the circumstances played a significant role. So, it's very easy for us to blame people. She's such an attention seeker, or he creates nonsense all the time. We forget that they are coming from a space where maybe something might have gone wrong. So there must be some circumstances, they might have undergone something because of which they are behaving that way. However, people in high and trait ambivalence don't fall prey to one-sided interpretation. They consider both the person's personality and the circumstances, giving them a fairer shake. So you'll be a better person in terms of making judgments. Ambivalence also makes fairer and more honest about ourselves. When we learn we have performed poorly, we'll blame the situation. If we do well, we take credit. Does that sound like you? Inflated and deflated? This bias in thinking makes us feel good and prevents us from seeing the situation's full reality, which can impair our ability to learn and self-correct. So if you're too biased, today's class was bad. The students were disturbing me. Today's class was good. I deserve all the credit. I made a nice presentation. If you think like this very one-sidedly, then there is no scope of learning and self-correction. In contrast, if you recognize that your success or your failure resulted both from your efforts and circumstances, then you will have a more realistic assessment of the situation. You remember, I said this in one class that I am not sitting here and teaching you just because I worked hard. Yes, I have worked hard, but there are a lot of things that have helped me. My parents, my husband, the institutes that I have taught in, the students who've been good to me, the students who bullied me. Everything combined, everything cumulative, and the lessons I learned from everywhere. And then I am a result of all of this. So I am not the one who's supposed to take all the credit. It's not as simple as that. And I think all of us are like that. My example is just an example. You might be wondering how you can take greater advantage of ambivalence in your own life. One way is to learn to become more ambivalent. I wasn't expecting this from the author. I thought that ambivalence is something to be sad about. You can do this by making a list of positives and negatives for issues you're thinking about. So if you're bothered about an issue, take a pen, write down positives, write down negatives. This technique will make your decision making easier. It will also help you balance out your views. Writing down gives you a lot of clarity. Use this writing exercise to create a habit of seeing the important things and distinguishing the positive and the negative. You have to train yourself to be having a more ambivalent mindset, and it will allow you to benefit from the cognitive flexibility and less bias. Less bias, I'm sure you understand. Cogn means knowing and thinking. So if you are flexible while you are knowing and thinking, and you are less biased, you will definitely have a good decision, and you'll be able to think better ideas, and you'll be creative and innovative. A second fundamental step is not to be intimidated. Intimidated is scared. Timid means shy, right? So intimidate is to scare. It's not to be scared by your mixed feelings. For some people, the experience of ambivalence might be a little bit uncomfortable. You think, oh, I can't decide anything. You might also feel that you are not assertive enough. You can't say a no, or you can't say a yes. So there is a turmoil going on. Or that you're wishy-washy. Wishy-washy is that people think, there are a lot of expressions like this. The author also says this unfortunate misguided tendency these days to use expressions such as wishy-washy, indecisive, flip-flopping, or weak. So if for example, you tell me that I want to meet you, and I say a yes, okay. You tell me that you want to meet me, and I say a no, okay. But if you say I want to meet you, and then I can't answer the question because I don't know that whether I can meet you or I should not. So I want time to weigh the options. Is meeting you okay? Is meeting you not okay? Am I comfortable? Am I not comfortable? So then you may end up calling me wishy-washy. You may think that I'm weak and I can't take decisions. And that's the new trend. But in fact, feeling ambivalent reflects that you have a balanced and nuanced view of things. Like I said, you're not impulsive and you're not very quick to take a decision. That's more in tune with the complexity and multifaceted nature of reality. Reality is not binary. It's not 1 and 0. It's not black and white. So if you can think through it, you know how complex and multifaceted it is. And if you ever, despite the above, do feel bad about being ambivalent, remember the words of F. Scott Fitzgerald. The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. So if you can have all the contrast, all the contradiction, all the conflict here, and yet you're able to function and take decisions, make complex decisions, come up with new ideas, trust me, it's a sign of intelligence, and that too first-rate intelligence. I hope this helps you feel better about yourself. That brings us to the end of this article, as well as to the end of the articles for this month. What is your assignment? Your assignment is to read a lot when I'm not here. I repeat, from 2 to 13 there will be no sessions. So our next session will now happen on the 14th of April. This is the source of the article. The fence is uncomfortable, but it affords the best view from Psyche. Your homework is also to enjoy the festival of Holi if you're celebrating, and to enjoy life in case you are not celebrating Holi, whether irrespective of the religion you follow. Also, there is a little 2 cents that I would like to add here. If you have been to a school where you have written an essay on Holi as a child, there is one thing that our teachers used to suggest as a compulsory point to be written there. And that compulsory point said that in the festival of Holi, we color everybody, physically or not, and we are supposed to forgive everyone who wronged us. So I would request you, or rather urge, that this Holi try to forgive everybody who wronged you, no matter how grave their offense was. And I'm sure that you will feel better. Forgiveness is about us, it's never about the other person. Try it and let me know if it helps you. These are the various places where you could contact me. I have already briefed you about the free classes and everything in the beginning of the session. Please watch the recording in case you missed it. And our next session will now happen on 14th of April, which is a Wednesday. So I'll see you then. I hope you enjoy this break and enjoy the festival and have a great time. That's all I have for today. Thank you and take care.